most important thing about a museum is not its buildings. Our job is, as a museum, is to bring life to these buildings. They are warm and encompassing structures that hold great art. We have a total of 7 buildings. 5 were designed by Frank Gehry, and each of them has a particular mission. So that the Welcome Center really is a way to display the best of Mississippi handcraft. The IP Casino Resort Spa Exhibitions Gallery really features the contemporary work. The Gallery of African American Art features work by or about African Americans predominantly. The Center for Ceramics should be completed in April of 2012. The Center for Ceramics houses the clay making program, areas for adult and youth to take classes, a 2nd floor area for conferences and classes, a 3rd floor area for administrative offices, and a 4th floor, which is a glass box with the best view of the sound on the coast, an uninterrupted view over the tops of these great oaks. The George Ohr exhibit is in this small gallery, which is part of that space, temporarily until the pods are done. The pods are 4 singular structures that are not completed now with their final cladding, stainless cladding. It's just sort of an infrastructure that you're looking at now. And those 4 particular structures will be connected by a glass atrium. And they form one building. And it will be the permanent home of the George Ohr exhibition. We have 2 historic buildings on site, which are really an important part of the mission of the Ohr to reflect the cultural heritage of the Gulf Coast. One is the Pleasant Reed Interpretive Center, and it is rebuilt on the exact footprint of the original Pleasant Reed home. So we have the past with the Biloxi Cottage in terms of architecture and the Pleasant Reed House, representing a past architectural history. We have several of the buildings here which have elements of coastal architecture, the antebellum staircase and the shoe-fly roofs that Frank Gehry used. And then we have the future, which is the pods. So the architecture of this site, of the 6 acres, really represents an architectural history of the Gulf Coast, the past, the present, and the future.
The other thing that really shaped the campus, this ancient grove of live oaks that the buildings are built among. These buildings really take up the negative space between those branches and the canopy. So that, more than anything, shaped the building. From the very beginning of the design, we engaged an arborist. We worked and reworked our structural solutions until he felt that the trees would be protected. It's also a very unique design as far as his canon of work goes. There's really nothing else like it. And it's daring, and not everybody understands it, and not everybody gets it, and that's okay. I would challenge people to come and experience it.
We hear the people say, I had no idea. How interesting, how wonderful, I had no idea. You can't experience the museum from 90. You have to come into the museum, walk under the trees, and visit the sites and look at the art. And I think both the visitor from out of the area and all of us on the coast can benefit from that.